Back in house with Coach Ragsdale here at Spring Garden, and Coach, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. You guys, another Friday night, another victory. You guys are putting this thing together at the right time, right here down the stretch, and finally got some guys back healthy that's playing, and probably a little bit more healthy heading into this week. We're gonna get into all that, but let's take it back to last Friday. You had a rivalry game versus Cedar Bluff, and took care of business, Coach.
Yeah, I think we had, after the game, the big thing that stood out was I feel like finally defensively we had some kids that figured out how to play fast, and we flew around defensively all night long, had 3 or 4 maroon jerseys to the ball. Zane Edwards had 10 tackles. I think Caden Thompson had 10. Then you had Colton Driscoll and Bryant Williams right there, 8 or 9 tackles apiece. I mean, those guys playing inside the box did a really good job of just setting a tone, and I think a defining drive for us. Cedar Bluff had the ball on the 3-yard line, 1st and goal, and kind of called a timeout and challenged our kids, and we held them out 4 plays on the 3-yard line, which is, that's a difficult task to accomplish. And I feel like our kids have a little energy, and something clicking this week that we've been preaching for 6 weeks now, and just been working on it, practice, and attribute that to being young. I mean, having some young guys, and I feel like over the last 2 weeks we really figured out some of our roles.
Heading over into the back half of the season, I like to call it. I coach a local coach around here. He said, "Well, it's not the back half. You get to week 8, because he looks at it in that point." But I'm sure you probably look at it the same mentality. But my point is, deep into the season. Let's change the word again. When you're heading into this area, a lot of those young guys has had to grow up, and they didn't grow up the easy way where they come in when it's 30 to nothing. No, they're out there when it's 0 to 0, and we got to figure out what they've put in, the new wrinkles they put in this week. Talk about that a little bit, and how these guys have grown up from that.
Yeah, well, you go back to our 2 losses. You go back to Pleasant Valley, and you go back to the Woodville game, and those are 2 games that you go, man, I wish that we could go back. With the experience that we got now and some things that we figured out, I'd like to go back and play those games again. You lose a game, obviously you have some plays and some drives that stand out, and I just attest some of that was to some of our inexperience, not being in that situation before. But now here we are going into week 7, which is it's crazy how fast it goes by.
It's insane.
But you see how much kids have grown and accepted the roles. And our big thing was last week, was just talking about, hey, hold the rope. Wherever you're at on the rope, hold the rope. You've got a job. Play inside your box. And we had some kids that figured that out last week. Offensively, like Friday night, Ben and Brady both had, they've been over 150 yards most games. Those guys, and with Clayton being out the last 3 games, they've picked up the slack. And Zane Edwards is a guy still that, he don't have as many rushing yards. He's not on the stat sheet, but he's so important to our offense in the backfield, just being the hammer. And he's gonna mix in hard runs in there as well. But again, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of naming kids, because man, I could go through 11. All of our 11 that we put out there did something that I was really pleased with Friday night.
That is, to me, Spring Garden athletics, not just football. Like you have, this guy does this guy does that, and y'all do a good job of blending that, putting that together, and obviously this football team is a testament to that. But how awesome is that? Like some of these schools, especially in these classifications, they got the one stud that's 2,000-yard rusher, and then they got a couple of dudes around them. That ain't how y'all do it here. It's a whole different, like you said, grab the rope.
Yeah.
Everybody's pulling their weight.
I think we about 2 weeks ago look out there, and half of our starters on both sides of the ball were junior high players last year. And we got
That's crazy.
5-6 guys on both sides of the ball that were playing on Monday night.
That's crazy.
But practice they got a bunch of valuable reps last year, and watch those old guys, and they're starting to figure out, hey, I can do certain things. I'm what my niche is, and they're starting to figure that out, and just this time of year, it's a good time of year to be figuring it out and be healthy. And we got a big game coming up, this week, biggest game of the year. If we want to stay in contention for, there's still a chance for a region championship if we take care of, what we need to take care of. But with a loss this week, that's out the window. Hosting the home playoff games out the window, so we're playing for a lot this week going up to a very good Appalachian football team.
Yeah, that is going to bring me to my next point. We do show with that too, and honestly, maybe it's Neil's best team he's had there, or they definitely put it together at the right time and beat beat Locust Fork the first time in 34 years or 37 years. But they're big. They're big up front. They got really good running back, but they got a lot. They're kind of like you guys. They got a lot of different guys that do a little bit to help the overall team. But what have you seen from them?
Yeah, running back. We know. Last year. He was one of the top players in the region last year, and he's back, and he's still a very good running back. He's a load. He runs hard. He just
runs behind his pass.
Yeah, he plays hard offensively and defensively, and they put him in good situations and utilize him well. But yeah, like I said, they got 11 guys on the field that I feel like they're good at contributing to what they do, and they're a complete football team for sure.
It's one of those games, like you said, you guys have a lot on the line. They have a lot on the line. But both of you kind of control your destiny. Obviously, to host a playoff game, if not the region, but both of you kind of control your destiny in the sense that it's a must-win if you want to host a playoff game.
Oh yeah.
Much. But talk about that, the pressure of it, but also the one thing you've done here, and I think it's a testament, and it's always the same message every week. You don't change just because it's a big game. You're not in here breaking stuff and throwing stuff and acting like a madman.
Yeah.
It's the same message, steady, calm voice that hey, yeah, it is a big game, but it's also here's what we got to do.
Oh yeah, and that's what I tell the kids every week. You can't be too big for the moment. You can't be too small for the moment. You can't be too low, can't be too high. You just got to be steady. You know what we're going to ask of you to do, and it's one of those games that now with a younger team. Again, I've stressed this from yesterday is we got a bus ride. That's a nice little hall up there, and at the end of practice yesterday, I asked kids, hey, raise your hand if you've ever played at Appalachian. 0. Coach Bowman was the only one that raised his hand. We played there in 17.
Wow.
So these kids going to a different place, and I was like, hey, look, going to Woodville, it was the same scenario. None of you guys had been there before. We didn't handle that bus ride very well. It's different. It's different. You get on the bus for a long time. You got to have a different mindset, and I'm hoping that's one of those things that our guys learned from earlier in the season is how to handle the business trip of a road game and go in a different place. So
this is something I'm just going to bring it up. It's a different field.
Oh yeah,
the biggest crown I've ever seen in a high school field in the state of Alabama is that app. Do you agree with that? First of all, second of all, do you mention that? Have you mentioned that to kids, or because it sometimes when you look over to other coaching staff, you see them waist up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's kind of unique now.
It is, and it's been a long time since I've been there. You gotta, it's the cool place to go up there on top of the mountain. Cool. They got a nice place, and the field is a little different in that aspect, but it's always super well kept and taken care of. And but I think besides that, it's just a new place. Like we went to Woodville 3 or 4 weeks ago, and our kids had no idea where it was at, and I've never been there. So going to a different place with young kids, people think, well, that's not a big deal. You're still going to play football, but it is a big deal. You get on the bus for an hour and a half, and it's a different feel.
You get off and you see the mountaintop view. It's a different place up there.
Yeah,
it's cool. I like going up there. They always speak highly of you guys. They spoke highly of you earlier this year. They was talking about just region play, and it's like, Spring Gordon's got the benchmark, right here. They're going to be every year. They're in the running for, hosting a playoff, deep playoff run. So, we know what they do and what they're bringing. So they speak highly of you guys as well. But a couple more things, and we'll shut it down. The first thing is, when you take those bus trips, I always used to. I know it sounds crazy, but I always had that militaristic mindset. Like, it's time to dial in and get, some coaches it's like turn the knob up and go crazy, and then some's like keep your mouth shut. How do you approach it?
Yeah, well, since when we pull out of school, I ain't gonna go militaristic, but I'm like, hey, I don't want to hear you. Put your earphones in, taking out, whatever. Get focused in. Make sure you focus on the bus ride up, so you can have a enjoyable bus ride back.
That's right.
I don't mind. We'll crank it up on the way back. If we have a good night, celebrate. I can put up with some shenanigans and loud stuff. It don't bother me. But bus ride up, I expect you to just be laser focused, quiet. Yeah, I don't want to hear you.
Last one, I always like to kick it back to you just for final thoughts.
Yeah, it's Spring Garden community. Make the trip up past Aniana, the Appalachian. It's going to be a big game, and we need a lot of maroon and gold in the stands supporting our kids, and just hope to see you Friday night.
Once people realize it is a long trip, but if you go up 59,
it's not bad. It's really in comparison to Woodville. It's about 30 minutes shorter than going to Woodville for us.
Once you get off, I don't know if y'all are going up 59 or you're going the back way, but if you go up 59, once you get off the Asheville X, it's just right on top of the mountain.
It's not a bad drive.
No, it's not bad. No. I can get there from my house in Rainbow City. I get there in less than 30. So I mean, once you get to Gadsden, you're less than 30 from there. So
make the drive.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm actually coming. I'm gonna shoot y'all some pictures of the game.
Okay.
I'm gonna check out Thompson Hewitt like pregame and first quarter, and then I'm driving out. So I'm gonna be there and get y'all some good pictures.
All right.
Coach, I appreciate you, and good luck to you guys, and I'll see you Friday.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.